All right, aloha. Day 24. Moving right along. We are going to start a practice called feel good. So it doesn't like to feel good, right? How do we do that as a mindfulness technique? The first technique we did was kind of a see, hear, feel, and oriented us to our sensory experience, right? The second technique was feel rest, which oriented us to uh, those restful sensory experiences within the feel sensory category, those voids. And then feel flow is just the opposite. We looked for all the activity, all the flow that was available within our physical. Well, feel good's kind of its own little category out here because it's what we call a nurture positive technique. So we're going to implement a little different strategy when we do feel good. Because what we want to do is nurture our connection to positivity, much like we're trying to deeply connect with rest. We're trying to deeply connect with flow. We're going to try and deeply connect with good. We do gratitude, we'll do good, we'll love, whatever you want. But we want to make that same deep connection, but that's not always readily available. So that's where the strategy comes in. We're going to use some kind of mental image, and I call it like a mental Rolodex. So I'll have available little mental cues you can use to trigger positive emotions, positivity, whatever it is, love, gratitude, joy, um, anything of that nature. So maybe start thinking about what you can bring to mind into your imagination that's going to generate the good feelings. And what we'll do is we'll use that as a tool, right? We'll think of those happy thoughts or whatever it is that can trigger the positive emotion. And then, just like before, we'll dive deep into that positivity and we'll just let go of whatever the trigger was, whatever the imagination was, and try and connect with that positivity that we've generated using an image. So that's the difference here. We're going to use a prop in this case to generate some positivity, but the rest of it's the same. You find whatever the technique calls for, in this case, joy, gratitude, happiness, love, whatever we're soaking into, whatever's generated from our positive image, we're going to find that and soak into it and realize it to the deepest extent that we can and nurture it. And the idea is, what fires together wires together, right? So a certain part of our mind, our brain lights up when we have these positive associations. And so we're going to be cultivating that positive experience in an effort to reinforce the neural pathways to the parts of our brain that light up when we have positive experiences. So I hope that makes sense. That's the concept or the idea behind the practice. And just like we've developed a deeper sense of rest than we maybe knew we had, or a deeper sense of flow, hopefully we'll develop that same deeper sense and deeper connection to feel good. All right. So let's get started. I'll see you on the other side. Let's get started. So with that, I invite you to get settled into your meditation position as usual. Upright, take a good posture is preferred, but just do best you can do. And this is an eyes closed practice if you're comfortable with that, but if not, you can always just do kind of a soft-eyed gaze, not focusing on anything in particular in front of you. And with that, if you recall from the introduction, I invite you now to try and generate some positivity, generate some feel good. You can do that by thinking of a loved one, thinking of a favorite activity, hearing your favorite song in your head, thinking of your favorite situation, that winning that game or the success of completing a project or some other positive experience, whatever you can. Just let's try and capture something in our mind's eye right now. Might be a favorite pet. That's one of my favorites. My dog, Boo. And you may notice it may be subtle or it may be strong, depending on how it shows up for you. And we'll just kind of let go of that image and see how that shows up in the emotional body. Initially, it might just be a guessing game or just a little bit of looking around and say, oh, is that there? Is that the positivity? At first, we might just be identifying the emotion in the body. And like all good things, it kind of dissipates after a bit. So you just return back to the Rolodex of positive thoughts or images. You know, whatever it was, you can use the same image or you can rotate through the Rolodex of potential positive imaginings. And again, just kind of let that go and see how that shows up in the body in kind of an emotional slash physical sensation. And it can be anywhere. Yeah, I noticed like my face kind of flushes, my cheeks get warm. It's maybe related to the smile that comes with that experience. Or maybe a warm flushing in your solar plexus or in your heart space. Just feel into that until it dissipates and we can no longer sense it. Maybe quick or it might take a while. But every time it dissipates and disappears, you just repeat the process. And there's no labels or anything. It's just generate some positivity, release the generator, and transition into the sensation. Just exploring it and feeling it for as long as you can till the very last little drop dissipates. Sometimes it can spread all over. That's fine. We just try to approach it with equanimity, allowing it to spread, enjoying it, and noting its natural dissipation, whether it's vivid for an extended period of time or hardly noticeable. The same person can have different experiences depending on a myriad of factors. So don't judge, just enjoy. Now, if your chosen objective generating positivity also generates a bunch of inner dialogue and starts going down different rabbit holes, you just release that as best as you can. Maybe move on to something else or reframe it in a positive light if it's brought challenges, and then a conceptual way, and then turn to something new, something positive. Your child's face, your favorite pet, your favorite beach, that feeling, just laying on the beach, not a care in the world. The view from the peak of a mountaintop or a beautiful hike. The joy of a loved one's company. Then we just go into that feel good space and emerge with the joy to the extent it's available. It just gets its own momentum. You just simply ride it out. Great job. Let's go ahead and wrap it up there. So, if your eyes are closed, you can open them at this time. And it's wrapped up right there. Hopefully, oh, I'm all happy now. Hopefully, you were able to tap into some feel good through that process, some feel gratitude or love, or however, we don't have to label it as much as we want to feel that sensation, that positivity, and nurture it. So, with that in mind, I hope that was a nice little introduction. Of course, over the next few days, we'll keep doing feel good, and I'll be dropping more hints along the way to help your practice along. So, with that, day 24 in the books. See you tomorrow. Aloha. Mahalo. I just realized I kind of blend in with the background there, just the head bobbing up in the ocean. All right. Anyways, feel good.